Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me tonight. I'm Michelle with Stampin' Butterfly, and we are having our monthly online class right now. So once a month we get together on the third Thursday at 7 p.m. Central, and we make a few cards. So normally I'll make 3 cards and demonstrate some techniques and use some fun stamp sets. And then if you place a $35 order or more by Monday using my host code that I have up on the corner of the screen, and I'll also post it in the comments. But if you place a $35 or more order, you can receive this card kit in the mail for free. I can't mail the stamped images. Stampin' Up! Doesn't allow that, so you'll have to use your own stamps, ink, and adhesive. But I'll pre-cut all the cards for you and send you some instructions. So if you enjoy these cards, make sure you place an order so you can get them in the mail. And if you enjoyed the video and you want to share it with your friends, feel free. And if you comment in the comments below that you shared it, I'll draw a person randomly to receive the cards that I actually make that are completed tonight, and I will drop those in the mail to you as well. So let's take a quick look at our cards that we'll be making. All right, so we're going to make 3 cards. We have a little Easter springy card right here, and then I thought it'd be fun to make a masculine card. We have lots of stamp sets that are geared toward flowers and butterflies and things like that. So this Game On stamp set is a lot of fun for, it could be for girls too, but it's definitely more of a guy card than flowers. And then I'm going to show you how on this card to do the bridge fold. So it's easier than it looks. It's cute. It stands up on its own. And then I put an extra card piece on the back. That way you can write your message, because it's a little hard to write inside of here. So we will need to see, let's see, which card do we want to start with? I think we'll start with the Game On card. So let me move these guys out of the way and pull over our supplies. So let's take a quick look at this stamp set. And there's cards, we have some dice, board game. It's kind of like, it could be chess or checkers or chess, and then some chess. So I also have some fun cards that I made in addition to this one that I will share with you once we put this one together. So let's take a look at our card pieces. And we're going to do a little bit of embossing on the foil. So you'll notice this isn't like a super shiny silver. I actually used the Sahara Sand emboss foil to emboss, and that is from the mini catalog. So it's a little bit different than the silver. It gives you a little bit lighter color, and I thought it was kind of fun. So let's see, do we want to leave that up there? We can do our stamping first, and then we'll do some embossing. So we'll move those pieces away. So this time I cut the card to open up this direction, and it's just a standard card base. It's your cardstock cut in half. This is going to be for your inside panel, so you can't really write on black unless you have a chalk marker. So we'll stamp something fun inside to go in the card. And then your layers will be 5 1/4 by 4 is your red, and then your foil is 3 3/4 by 5. And that's kind of how they layer up. So we'll go ahead and do some stamping. So we're going to use our black Memento ink. Hi Heather, thanks for joining me. I'm glad you're able to pop in. So we're going to use the largest stitched circle. So this is from the Stitched Framelit set, and we are going to ink up the card deck and kind of put that on there. So again, with the Memento ink, it is a hard felt stamp set, so you can kind of really rub it and press down pretty hard to make sure you're inked up really well. And then you're just going to center it on there. A little bit might hang off, and that's okay. Probably should have put some scrap paper below in case I stamp on my workspace. So there we go. We have our cards all set. We'll set that aside. And then we'll go ahead and we'll pull out the little banner that goes across. And we'll take our sentiment that says, "Hope your day is all fun and games." And actually this card is for my son's birthday because he likes to play cards. So that's what I kind of designed this one for. So we're going to center that on here. Press down and up. And now this is a fun font. It's not a solid font, so you didn't do anything wrong. The letters aren't super distinct. They have a little bit of washout in them. It's kind of like a sketch art like the rest of the stamps in the set. So don't worry if you think it came out bad, it did not. And then we're going to put the dice on the side, and I let it set for a second so the ink mirrors onto the paper. And then we go there. And then let's see, what did I stamp on the inside? So I think I did a quick dice in the corner and a happy birthday, and I think I picked a different birthday this time. So we'll go ahead. And again, you can use these to stamp all kinds of things. So if you wanted to stamp your envelope, you could decorate the corner of your envelope. Ooh, see, look, I made a halo. Got ink on the edge, and I rocked it. So let's try the other side. That's why you have two sides of your paper. Probably should have cleaned it, but I will try not to rock it. Ah, there we go. That's better. So, oh, I did get a new chamois, although now look at it, it's all dirty already. So I'm going to clean my stamps on the chamois before I stick them in on another project, and then I'll get ink where I don't want it. So we'll just go ahead and clean those real quick and set them aside. So we'll move those there. And we'll stamp the happy birthday to go inside. Now this birthday stamp is actually from the Happy Thoughts stamp set in the mini catalog, and I love this one. It has great fonts and it has a bunch of holidays covered for you. So it's a great stamp set to add to your collection. Alrighty, so I'm gonna clean that. That's what all my squeaky noise is. All right, we've done our stamping for this card, so let's put the ink aside. We'll set that over there. And we'll get out the embossing machine so we can emboss our foil. So let's go ahead and move these aside. We've got that. Let me grab my embossing machine. So since this is a larger embossing folder, you can't use our mini machine. You'll have to use the bigger one. All right, let's see if I left myself enough room on here. So when you're using a 3D embossing folder, you'll want to use plate 1. And then it also tells you on here, in case you ever forget, you use your 3D embossing folder, use number 4, which is the dark gray. So we'll make our sandwich with those pieces. So first we'll take our foil and we'll add it into our embossing folder. Trying to line it up pretty straight. And with the foil, you don't want to run it through too many times because it's more sensitive than regular cardstock. So one time through should be plenty. So we'll go ahead and run that through. And that banging noise is normal. It's just how it works with the embossing machines. So we'll move that out of our way. Let's see what our die cut looks like, or our embossed image. So there we go. How cool is that? I just love embossing on foil. It's so much fun. So there you go. There's our piece. So now we have all our pieces to make our card. So let's bring our card back in and all the pieces, and we'll go ahead and assemble, and it'll just take a couple minutes. So if you wanted to make a bunch of these, it would be a pretty quick card to do because you can do all your stamping in one set, and then you can do all your embossing, and then you can just all assemble. So I like to use my Tombow liquid glue, and a little goes a long way, so I usually just run it around the edges, and we'll set that down on our cardstock. And the nice thing about the liquid glue is if it's not exactly centered the way you like it, you can wiggle it around a little bit. So it gives you a little more wiggle room. Now with the foil, when you're putting your glue on, you don't want to push too hard because it'll leave a mark on the front side of the foil. So, and then because it's embossed, I try to put a little bit more glue in the middle on this piece. And then we're going to flip it over, center that on here, and again, we can wiggle it around if we need to. I always seem to have to lift it a little at an angle. And then flip it over so it adheres nicely. All right, next we're going to pull out our dimensionals because I like my dimensionals. So we're just going to use a few of the regular size dimensionals. And you could even use the foam sheets if you wanted to make it solid. You could do a foam sheet that whole size and make it really thick. So we'll just put some of those on here. All right. There we go. center that on there. And then this one you could pop it up if you wanted, or you can glue it flat. I kind of liked it flat, so we'll keep it the same as the original card. And center it somewhere about here. And it takes a little longer to stick down because it's on the foil. Probably should have put a little more glue on that. We'll see if it sticks. All right, then we can do our inside panel. So we'll go ahead and put a little bit of glue on this guy. And what's nice is we didn't glue it first, so I made that little mistake that I didn't like. I could stamp on the back side of the paper. Didn't ruin any paper. Alrighty, so I'll go ahead, put this in here, and then we have a nice birthday card for anybody. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to add more glue for sure. Let's do that real quick. And it does take a little longer because it's on the foil, so I really didn't give it enough time to dry. Let's see if I line it up right in the same spot as before. Slide it down a little bit. Am I still on screen for you? Yeah, okay. Perfect. All right. So there's card one. That went together pretty quick, and it's got a nice flashy kind of look to it with your foil. So hope you guys like that one. You'll have to let me know at the end what your favorite card is. So put leave me a comment and let me know which card you like the best. And that way I'll be able to get some ideas of how to do the next cards. So let's take a quick look. I told you I'd made a few more cards with the stamp set. So I have those over here. Whenever I break out my stamp set, I try to make more than one type of card just because that way I get to use my stamp set a little bit more. And then I have some extra cards to use. But I don't like to make too many of the same, so I'm always making different ones. So this one I used more of a Mary Merlot. I kind of made my own paper in the background. And then just a quick stamp in that one. And I didn't put an insert in here. You could if you wanted. That would be okay too. And then this one says, lucky me, because I have you. And I used all the stamps on this one, just kind of all the different gaming type of stamp. And then I thought this would pair together really well with an anniversary card. And it says, happy anniversary, life is better with you. And that is from, I think it's that Medallions stamp set. It has a bunch of different sentiments in it for different holidays. It's a really neat stamp set, and I like that font. And then again, I like the dice in the corner. This one I used Smoky Slate for stamping with the ink, and then I did in that one as well. This one I think the base is Cherry Cobbler, so yeah, I don't know if you can tell on screen. They're slightly different, and then the one I did, the first card I did was Real Red. Now this one I went ahead, stamped the background, and I embossed it with the texture embossing folder, so that gives you another look. And then this one's a little bit on the foil side again. I like to use my foils. So this one I used some of the foil from the travel paper that we have, and then I did the gold, or actually it's brass, in the scalloped square to go behind there. So that just gives you some more ideas on the stamp set. It's a great stamp set. It's one of my favorites. There's a few stamp sets actually in the catalog that are geared towards guys. So let's take a quick look. I think they're all in a similar section. I think I paged it. Maybe it's back here. Here we go. So this also gives you, it's a little section. It says, let's hear it for the boys. And it gives you some fun stamp sets that you can use for guys. You've got cars and camping. And then here they even did a shaker card, which is kind of fun. I haven't played with that yet in that stamp set. And then there's some sailing, you know, some trees, and then some dad and the whiskey. I like that one a lot as well. And then you're back to flowers again. So there's a few stamp sets. I know the retirement catalog or the retirement list will be coming out next week. So demonstrators will get a quick peek at that. But if you've got any of those guy stamp sets that you like, you may want to pick those up before they retire. We don't know which ones are going just yet. Let's see. I think we'll go ahead and make the butterfly next. So let's take a look at that again. So this one's a bridge fold, like I said. When you fold it down to mail it, you just push it to the side and it'll slide into your envelope the same. It fits in a normal envelope. So if I pull this card out, so the card we just made, once you fold it over, it's the same size as your normal card base, which is kind of cool. So it'll fit in a normal envelope to mail in. like any of your other cards. All right, so I pre-cut the paper, but I will show you how to score it. So let me grab my scoreboard. So you can do your scoring either on your Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer, because there is a scoring tool on there, or you can use your scoreboard. I'm kind of hanging off the corner. Let me see if I can squeeze it on my whole desk. Okay, so now you can't see it in the camera. Let me pull it down first. So what I did was I went ahead and cut my paper. So my paper is a little bit shorter than a normal card base, so it's the standard 4 1/4, but it's only 8 inches long versus the 11 that is on a normal card base like the one we just used. And then what I did is I put my little markers there to mark off where I need to score, so I don't have to keep remembering it, especially if you're doing a bunch of them. So I'm going to scooch it up so I can get a straight line. And then all you do is you take your scoring tool, and there's a smaller tool and a larger. I like to use the larger one. And you just put it in the crease. Now I might have to stand up for this. So let's go ahead and do that. I can see them better. And then I'll tell you where I'm scoring in a second. All right, so we have 4 score marks. So we scored at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 5 1/2, and 6 3/4. So now we have our score marks. And you can go back and forth a couple times, but I think the 1 will work for what I need. All right, let's pull this guy back on. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this first piece out and the second piece in. Same thing on this side. I'm going to go ahead and fold that one and then this one. And now that we got the initial crease, we can use our bone folder to make it nice and creased. And then we'll flip it over and do this guy. Alrighty, so now we have our pieces. So I've pre-cut the remainder of the pieces as well. So we have 2 Whisper White or Basic White. I think these are still Whisper White. And they are, let me see, I've jotted it down, 2 3/4 by 4. So one will go inside with our message, and then one will go on the back side where you can write on it. And then we have our little pieces of designer series paper. I cut 1 by 4, and this is going to be the little band that goes across. So I think for the essence of time, I will probably just use a pre-cut butterfly that I have. So this is from the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set. Well, it has a bunch of names. It's a butterfly bouquet. There's they have different names for it depending if you're talking about the paper or the coordinating stamps or dies. But I just call it the Butterfly Brilliance. So in this stamp set, it's one huge stamp and it has a bunch of butterflies on it. So let me show you. And I'm going to do another video later making some cards with it. But so I like to stamp it because it's so large. I like to stamp it on my Stamparatus. So it's one solid image. And then there's one die cut that cuts out all the pieces. So if you look, this butterfly is this guy right here that I had stamped earlier. And then I colored it with some Bermuda Bay and light smoky slate blends to color that guy. So we'll save that for another day. And we will just use the butterfly from the paper. So now the coordinating paper, what's cool about it, there's one of the patterns, it actually cuts out. So it has the butterflies all done, and that same image of those 4 or 5 butterflies, the die cut will cut it out for you. So we'll use that on this card. And we are going to do our stamping first. There's only a little bit of stamping on this card, and it's just our sentiments. You can change it up to whatever you want. We're going to use coordinating ink, so everything's Bermuda Bay. It's one of my favorites. And the stamp set is, let's see, it's from the mini catalog. It's part of the new, well, I'm going to stick that in the ink. It's one of the stamp sets that is a kit. So here we go. So the You Are Amazing is actually from the You Are Amazing stamp set. I didn't realize that was the name. So that one I use a lot. I like all the stamps in this. So I have the kit, and I do like the kit, but the stamp set is great all by itself as well. And so that's what we're going to use for this. I just thought it was fun with the butterfly. So now this is your standard foam pad. So when you ink it up, you want to move it around, but don't press too hard because then you're going to get ink where you don't want it. And then you're just going to stamp down, let it set for a second, oops, and up. And so now you have your stamped sentiment. We can go ahead and assemble our card, because that's all the stamping we're going to do. Let's see. We're going to need those embellishments too. All right. So let's grab our liquid glue. And we'll go ahead. I think I got glue on the end of this. There we go. And we're just going to put that on the center of our card. I might have given myself sticky fingers. All right. So that one's way over. Let's scooch them. Ooh, they're sticking today. All right. That is just not cooperating. There we go. That looks straight. All right. So we have that there. We're going to put our other piece of white on the back. So we'll just go ahead and just stick that on there. That's real quick. And you could stamp a tiny butterfly in the corner. You can do some flowers. You can dress it up. But it's not a ton of space. So if you like to write a long message, you might not want to put too much on there. But you can always add to your envelope too. So that's always fun. All right, there's the back. Flip back to the front of our card. And we're going to go ahead and add our designer paper to the flaps. So we'll just add this. Oh, that's kind of cool too. You could swap it and do either side. Our paper's double-sided and it's always pretty. So you can pick whichever side you like. I think I want my butterflies going this direction. All right. And you could have gone like 1/8 of an inch more on your designer paper, but when you do 1x4 and you're cutting 6x6 paper, you get a little bit more out of it. So sometimes, you know, you can decide what size you want to use. I don't know. I guess we'll do the purple up this way again, like the other guy. So you can decide, you know, with 1/4 of an 1/8 of an inch. And I like to cut at the 1/4 and whole inches better anyway. I don't love 1/8 of an inch. All right, so your band, your belly band, is going to go across here. And then the easiest way to glue it down, and we don't want to put glue on the whole thing. We just want it on part. So let's crease that again. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put glue on either end and then decide how high up you want it. And then you'll just glue it down from there. So one way to do it, since it's the same on both sides, and you could decorate this banner too. So if you wanted to stamp like dots or designs or anything like that, you could always do that as well on this little piece that goes across. All right, so we're going to flip this over. And I don't want to go up too high because my butterfly might overlap the sentiment. So, and that, because it's a bendy spot, you want to make sure you're using something sturdy like a liquid glue or the Stampin' Seal Plus, which is like extra sturdy. The regular seal might not hold well enough for such a bendy card. All right. So there we are. And then we're just going to bend our butterfly so he's in movement, and we'll stick a little glue right down the middle, and you can decide what angle you want to put it and where. I'm just going to center it there, and you could also pop it up on dimensionals if you wanted to. And then for an extra little bling, I went ahead and I put a little bit of artistry bloom sequins. So the blue ones look really pretty on there. Let me get my piercing tool. I think we'll take a big one, put it over here. I know I just flipped it upside down. It's easier to grab it from that angle, I think, because I'm right-handed. All right, and then we'll put one on the other side. It's always good to put things in odd numbers, so 3 is a good number when you're decorating. You could even put your rhinestones down the center of your butterfly if you wanted also. Alrighty. So what do you think? That was pretty easy, right? I mean, they look scary when you see them all done, but that came together pretty quick. And if you're making them, you can make a bunch of them all at one time as well. So there's the difference. So do you like the colored butterfly with a little bit brighter, or do you like the more pastel looking butterfly? you'll have to let me know. Alrighty, so we are moving right along. We are on to our third card. And that's our Eastery fun card. Let me grab my supplies. So this one uses our Springtime Joy, which is a cute little bunny stamp. And then also the Tulip Punch, which was super popular last year. So I haven't used it, and not since last year, so I thought, hey, let's break that guy out, and I'll show you some fun things you can do with it in case you didn't know. So I punched a few things in advance, and I'll do one of them on the video for you guys so you can see how to do it. So just grab out all my supplies. This one I have used a few blends, so I'm going to take all those out. And do a little bit of coloring. And let's see, we'll grab our stamps. So we'll be using the Tulip Punch. So this is the Tulip Punch, so we'll be using that. And the leaf, so the back of this uses the leaf from the Timeless Tulip stamp set, which is really pretty. It has Get Well, Mother's Day, Happy Birthday, and then Happy Easter, Happy Spring, Happy Everything. So that's really cute. And then the main stamp set we're using is the new Springtime Joy, which came out in the mini catalog, and it's got a little chick. And I made some additional cards with this one too, so I'll show you some samples of other cards you can use this kit for. And the sentiments are Easter and spring, so you could do either one. So ours is going to be spring, but there is also some cute Easter sentiments you can substitute out. And then the inks we're going to use are Just Jade and Misty Moonlight, as well as the black. So, made a mess. All right, let's do a little stamping first. So we'll stamp our bunny so he can dry. So anytime you're using your alcohol markers, you want to make sure you use your Memento Black ink. And this ink is designed to work with the alcohol markers. So this Days On ink that we have, the other black, works with watercoloring. So we're going to ink up our bunny. We're going to stamp him in the middle. Alrighty. Then we're going to go ahead and stamp our flowers on either side. And there's a little butterfly in there. You can decorate it up all kinds of ways. So we got that one. And again, you can use these little flowers on your envelope, so you can stamp the inside of your card as well. So you like the colored butterfly better, Heather? Yeah, I like the brights. I like the bright colors. All right. So that takes care of everything we want to do with the Memento Black, and we'll set that aside for a minute. Let that dry. It dries pretty quick, but I figured we'd work on the other pieces. And then we'll break out our markers. So the Welcome Spring, I think I have a little piece. Here we go. So I did that in the Misty Moonlight. It just gives it a little bit different offset than the Jet Black. So this is one of our new in colors for this year. Can't wait to see the new ones. Although I am sad with the retiring ones. I better put some scrap paper under here because I can't line it up. All right, so let's see if I line it up good or not. That might be worse. It's white on white. Oh, not too bad. All right, there we go. So we have our sentiment. We're ready to go with that. Stick that over there. And I went ahead and stamped a few of the leaves already. They're in here somewhere. And we'll go ahead and do one together so you can see how to use it. All right, here's the other guy. Thought I had 3. All right, there's 3. So we'll put away the Misty Moonlight, and the Just Jade is what we're going to use for the leaves. And I like this. It's kind of a neat colored green. It's got a little bit of almost like a aqua to it. I don't know. It's not like a green color. So for the leaves that I used on the back of the card to go behind the tulips, I stamped off once because I didn't want them to be too dark. So I ink it up, and I need a scrap paper. We'll just use the back of my calendar. Stamp it off once. See how dark that is. And then I want to make sure it's going the same direction as the punch. Make it easier. and then I'll stamp down. And I like that lighter color better. So that's the fourth one we needed. We'll close that up and move it to the side. So you'll see when I do my images, I like to, okay, good, it went the right way. I like to turn it upside down so you can see, and then you just want to try to get about even amount of white space around each side, and then you can punch it out. Now, if your piece of paper was too small, you could use a little post-it note. So like if you're punching with this one, which we may do later, you can use this to kind of move your paper around. So you can use a smaller piece. All right, so we have our leaves. Let me show you the tulips that I've already pre-cut. So I've pre-cut 2 of them, and they just punch out with this same punch. But what I did on this one, and I think you can see in the video, is I used this leaf punch, and I punched out the same paper and popped it up, so it gave me a 3-dimensional side to the tulip. So for instance, I did this side on this guy and that side on the other tulip. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And let's see. That's not big enough to do my big tulip, so I'm going to go ahead, pull out my large piece of paper. Now this paper is from Hydrangea Haven. I love purple. So we're going to go ahead, punch out our tulip. And then, now when I did this blue one, I went ahead and punched it directly out this way. But to get it to go the other way, I have to punch the paper backwards. So you'll see in a second. Since I'm punching it backwards, then it flips the curve the other way. So I can put it on this side. And if you wanted, you could pop up both sides. So you could really, you could have done blue on both sides of that. But I kind of like the one side. Alrighty. So now we have those. And of course I use some dimensional. So we'll grab a dimensional, stick it there, and then we can attach it to the side of our tulip. Oop, it's a little off. All right, let's scooch them over a little. There we go. All right, so now we have all our tulips. Now what we need to do, and I've already pre-tied the little bow, and this is from that, every season there's like a flower punch that we have that does the mason jar, and that's the twine that matches it with the Misty Moonlight. All right, so we're going to color our bunny, and now we are going to use just Jade Light. So I'm going to start with the light to color the leaves. All right, and now when you use your alcohol markers, they do bleed through, so you want to have a scrap of paper underneath you just in case. So if you look at the back, you'll see it coming through a little bit. So you can do shadowing, light and dark. You can leave some white space. Okay, so I'm going to flip to the other point to do the tiny spot. So there's a skinny line and a fat line on your alcohol markers, and it tells you the brush tip versus the little marker tip. So we're going to go ahead and just use that tip to do the small areas. Alrighty. And then the tulips and the flowers, I used Purple Posy and Highland Heather. And our card base is actual Purple Posy, which makes me sad because it's retiring. It's one of our in colors that are retiring. So if it's one of your favorites, make sure you get it before they run low. I think I heard that the Rococo Rose is running low as well, so they may sell out of that before the catalog even retires. It's been very popular. All right. So let's get the light purple posy, and we'll do the other flower. And again, you can use the color lifter to make things lighter. You can shadow it, but I'm just doing pretty much solid coloring for this guy. And then Seaside Spray, sadly, is another color that's retiring, and we'll use that to color some of the other little flowers. And I'm using light, but if you wanted to make it a little darker, you could put a second layer on, or you can just use the dark Seaside Spray also. And let's see, so now, what's kind of fun when you have a white image, so our bunny, we're not going to paint him brown or anything, we're going to just leave him white. He could be a gray bunny, there's lots of colors you can do, but Pool Party is one of my favorite markers. It's like a must-have color. So Pool Party Light, and then smoky, slate, light, and seafoam are all great colors for doing this. But you can just shadow it up. Oh, hey Brenda, I'm so glad you could join us. I haven't seen you in forever. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us and watching us make some cards. So you just go around the edges, and you could do it inside the line or you could do it outside the line, but it just gives you a little shadowing and it's kind of cool. The other thing you can do on some of your cards, if you had stamped a bunch of images, you could use the pool party and color the whole background and it would really pop. You could also do it on black and white paper and that looks really cool too. All right, I think we're done coloring. So now we just need to assemble our card. So this card is the same as the Game On card. So I cut it the same direction. It's 4 1/4 by 11, except this time we're going to open it sideways. So it's a little fun. And again, you could put a panel in there. It's a light colored cardstock, so I probably won't. You can add some flowers in there as well. So let's see. Where's my bone folder? Here it is. So we'll crease that down and we will start assembling. So I kind of want to guesstimate about where my bunny is going to go. And my spring goes at the bottom, so there's enough room. And then our tulips are going to kind of wedge behind. And we're going to pop those up with dimensionals, so they're going to go back here. So I want to make sure there's enough room for them. And then I'm going to glue the leaves on flat in between the different flowers. So let's grab a few dimensionals so we can pop these guys up. Give them some height. And again, you can use the foam adhesive. I'll show you that on the other. So I'm going to use the foam adhesive on the bottom of that guy. But that one's a lot of fun because it's a huge, it's just like a solid sheet of dimensionals. And you can use it behind letters. I think we did a card class with that earlier. So you can do it like that. All right. Get all the backings off. Let's see, we're still good on space. Doesn't have to be exact, I'm just trying to make it close. I'm more of a symmetrical person, so that's just kind of me. I don't do that much crooked. All right, now the bunny. So I'm just gonna pop the whole bottom off. Oh, see, look, there's some colored paper that stuck to that. So the foam adhesive sheet comes like, kind of like this size, a little bit bigger, and it's solid. So you just cut it up, whatever size you want. So we will go ahead and since it's going to overlap those anyway, we need to just put the foam at the bottom. Hope I put it at the bottom. Okay, good. So it'll just give us some nice height and it won't be caving in. So if you had a bunch of small dimensionals, sometimes they fall, you know, they fall in when you mail things. Post office smooshes them. All right, so stick that there, put a few dimensionals on our little spring, and then we'll glue some leaves down. We're almost done with our card. So you can tell purple is definitely one of my favorite colors, so I like to use all of our purple colors. I'm curious to see what our new ink colors will be. Anytime you're using glue, ribbon and bows and things, glue dots work really well. So I kind of use my fingernail and roll it into a ball behind a glue dot. And then I'm just going to stick it on the corner right there. And got all this stuff in the way. Oops, not my leaves. I'm trying to get rid of the garbage. All right, so you can decide if you want the fat leaf or the skinny part of the leaf sticking up. You could do it either way. I think I need a little more backing, so we're going to go ahead and use the thicker side up. And we're just going to slide them in. You can do it at whatever angle works for you. That's my lid. Let's see. I like the way I did it the first time, so I'm trying to keep it the same. But I could change it if I wanted. There's no right or wrong way. That was a lot of glue. Let's see how that does. Alrighty, and 2 more leaves to go. And you'll see I have some pearls on here. So on the flower I used the hydrangea pearls, and I think they're still back ordered. But what's nice is if you have our white pearls and you have your alcohol markers over here, you can color them. So you can make your pearls any color you want if you have the white ones. So don't fret if you can't get the cool purple ones, because you can make your own. All right, I think that looks good. What do you think? All right, so we'll put that up there. So move that out of the way. So here is our little Easter card, or spring. And I did it spring because that way I can still send it as like a little hello to somebody after Easter. Because I'm always so slow, I never mail anything on time. Anyway, so that is my last card I have to share with you guys. Let's take a look at some other projects. My big messy station over here. So let's take a few more cards that I made with this stamp set. So this one I wanted to play with the adhesive sheets we have. So what I did is I put the cardstock on our adhesive sheets, and then I die cut the words so I didn't have to try to glue all those teeny letters. And it's the same little bunny, but I colored him in the petal pink. Tied the big bow. Did a little bit of embossing. Oh look, I forgot to put my rhinestone or my pearl on that flower. Let's do that real quick. Maybe we'll do darker purple on this one. What do you think? Yeah, I like the darker purple. We'll try that. So that's more like a gorgeous grape color. All right. Ooh, there we go. So that's done. Here's another card that I made. I wanted to play with the sheep and the chick. I fussy cut him, popped him up. There's the little Easter basket and then some of the butterflies. So I always like to try to use all the stamps in the set, see what I can come up with. And on this one, it's probably hard to tell in here, but if you look, I did the pool party around the outside of the sheep to give him a little bit of accenting to pop him out. And then my last project I want to show you with the bunny is a little Easter treat box that I made. And in here I put some shred from the dollar store and some Hershey Kisses, which are my favorite chocolates. So they're decorated for Easter. And I colored them up, and I did I think this is the Magenta Madness pink. Die cut this one with the Happy Hippos, fun size. And then I just made a little belly band of cardstock, stamped it with some butterflies, and then wrapped some ribbon around it. And these are just our 3x3 acetate boxes, which coordinate with our little tiny cards and envelopes, but you can always use them for treat containers. So I love doing that, where we've already got pre-made goodies. And these are great little presents for neighbors. Maybe we're not working in the office right now, but you can still give them to friends and neighbors, other people that you run into, or if you've got a cashier or someone you see, at the store a lot. That'd be a great present. So that is the end of the class. I did want to just go over a couple of things on my upcoming schedule, which I think I stamped on somewhere. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so the last to-go class we did was a Hydrangea Hill. So those should be going out in the mail next week. And thank you to everybody who participated in that. Those cards are really pretty. I will share them with you guys a little bit later on another post on my Facebook page. And then what I've started is, so I have this monthly workshop, and then I've also started a couple other just kind of get-together events. So the last Friday of the month is Coffee and a Card, and it's at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we'll get together on Zoom. So if you just RSVP on my stampinbutterfly.stampin'up.net, there's an events tab, and that's where I post all my events. And I also have these little handouts. But if you go on there and you RSVP, we're going to do that on Zoom, and it's just a way to get together, craft, hang out Friday night. You can drink your whatever you like to drink, coffee, tea, alcohol beverage. But I figured that's a good time to kind of hang out. And then I've also started back, which I used to do in person, was Paper Pumpkin Pals. And that is usually the last Sunday or the fourth Sunday of the month, depending on the month. So that one will be March 28th this month. And it's at 2 p.m. And basically we'll just get together and put together our paper pumpkin kits on Zoom and hang out. I'll share any projects that I've done for some of my previous kits. So there's some alternatives and things, so I will share those with you guys as well. And then my next to-go class for next month is going to feature the Ice Cream Corner Suite. And the RSVP is due April 12th, so I'll be sending out information on that soon. So stay tuned for that. I may have to swap it if the back orders are kind of crazy, but I'm hoping things kind of pan out by then. And we'll be able to use that as our card class to go. So thank you so much for joining me. I had a great time, and I hope you guys learned something new and enjoyed the cards. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks.